In his 13 terms as United States Representative from Arkansas, no congressman from any state was more liked and respected than John Paul Hammerschmidt. John Paul was first elected during an era when it was thought impossible for any Republican to get elected to anything in Arkansas. But Democrats crossed over and sent him to Washington. And the young businessman from Harrison went on to become one of the most important and popular political figures in Arkansas history. John Paul was a champion of bipartisanship. He had friends on both sides of the aisle, and his quiet, approachable demeanor allowed him to get things done for his state and for his nation. And it was that way from the very beginning. One of the first accomplishments was sponsoring legislation in the House that led to the federal protection of the Buffalo River in John Paul's own backyard. A Democrat, J. William Fulbright, sponsored the Senate bill, and together, the two Arkansans led the way as the Buffalo became our first national river.
On March 1st, 1972, President Nixon signed the bill into law, making the Buffalo the first national river, exactly 100 years to the day that President Grant signed the bill that made Yellowstone the first national park.
Through 6 presidents and changing majorities, Hammerschmidt was always in tune with the folks back home. He got things done, made things happen, bringing airports and highways and jobs to Arkansas. A combat pilot in World War II, he was and is a tireless worker for Veterans Affairs, standing up for the men and women who protect our country's freedoms.
I would like to say that I learned a tremendous amount from John Paul Hammerschmidt. One of his favorite lines to me early on in my tenure was, "Jim, you don't have to be strident." A lesson that took me a number of years to learn, but which I attempt to apply here in the United States Senate. John Paul Hammerschmidt, I'd like to thank you for your mentorship and for your service to our country, and congratulate you on your most deserved night of appreciation tonight, and to tell you that there are those of us working in the halls of Congress today who are trying to carry on that same spirit.
In honoring John Paul Hammerschmidt, you're honoring one of the truly great members of Congress, former members of Congress, and indeed a very close personal friend of mine. Barbara and I loved him and Jenny, and I respect him more than tongue can tell.
You know, when I think of John Paul and Jenny, I think, would that we had congressmen and people like them, people who are gentlemen, who are kind to each other, who don't let party politics make them mean. I just think he was one of the great congressmen, and certainly a great friend to George. I just wish Jenny was here to be there tonight to see the wonderful dedication that you are giving to this great man.
Well, congratulations, John Paul, old pal, old friend. Stay in touch. Be sure to come to Houston. You got lots of stuff to talk about, but in the meantime, have a great evening, and congratulations on this well-deserved honor.
I'm so pleased the Brandon Burlsworth Foundation is honoring John Paul Hammerschmidt for his long and outstanding service to our state and the people of Arkansas. John Paul served our state during a period of great change and progress. He came to Congress in 1967, at the beginning of industrial growth and equal opportunity for Arkansas. I had the distinct honor of being beaten by him in my very first run for political office in 1974. I still can't thank him enough. I learned a lot in that campaign that stayed with me for a lifetime. And despite our political differences, we've become friends. I'm grateful for the kindness and courtesy he's shown to both Hillary and me, and to his work and dedication to public service. So John Paul, thanks. You enjoy this night. You've earned it.
Since retiring from Congress, John Paul continues to make a difference. He has been the March of Dimes Arkansas Citizen of the Year, and he's never stopped working to bring jobs home to Arkansas and to improve health care for our nation's veterans. Friend, public servant, and leader. That's John Paul Hammerschmidt, a man of dignity and honor. We are the recipients of his many good deeds, and it is our great pleasure to honor him tonight.